Hey, what's going on, guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be reacting to Ryan Pineda couch flipping, the best side hustle no one talks about. And on the thumbnail, it shows that he makes $8,000 per month or made $8,000 per month in the past. So we're going to find out all the details in this video. Again, if you guys are unfamiliar with these reaction videos, if you guys want me to react to a certain video of your favorite YouTuber or make money online niche or anything that revolves around sort of make money, just make sure to leave it down below in the comment section and I will make a video reacting to it. Just make sure you don't post the link in the comments because then YouTube will take it. Just give me the name, give me the title, and I will look it up and I will react to it. All right, so let's get started.
Okay, so before I tell you what exactly the side hustle is, let me give you the backstory of how I figured this out. So back in 2013, my wife and I, Mindy, had just gotten married in October, and we moved into our first apartment together. And at the time, she was only 21 years old, I was 24, we didn't have money. So in order to furnish the apartment, I ended up buying all the furniture on Craigslist. I was getting a couch here for $100, a table there for $50, I got our beds, I got literally everything you can imagine, all used. I want to say we furnished the whole apartment for like $1,000. And me being an entrepreneur and a go-getter, I knew that we had gotten great deals on everything. I would never pay market value for anything, whether it's used or not.
Furnishing your entire apartment for $1,000 is an incredible deal. Like he said, I completely agree with him. You can buy things used on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, on OfferUp, and the furniture there is a fraction of the cost, if not free sometimes. So I completely agree with him there. The only thing that I wouldn't buy used is a mattress. You don't know where that mattress has been. You don't know if Dirty Mike and the boys, had their freaking party on there. We don't know anything about that mattress, so that's the only thing that I wouldn't buy used.
And in my mind, when it was done, I was thinking that we could probably resell it all for like $3,000. But obviously, I wasn't going to do that. It was just a thought in my mind. Now, at the time, I was a struggling realtor, not really making too much money. So I actually decided to go and be a substitute teacher. And I never talk about this because it was such a short period of time that I forget that I even did it. But I ended up getting my substitute teacher's license and started substitute teaching at middle schools and high schools and elementary schools. But as I was sitting there, I did have a lot of time to reflect and think about what I wanted to do with my life. I ended up reading a lot of books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I also started thinking about ideas of how I could make more money for our young family. And I kept coming back to this idea of we bought all this undervalued furniture and I could go sell it right now and make good money. And as I thought about it more, I said, well, what if I just found one good deal a day? If I found one good deal a day, I could make $200. I could go buy a couch for $100 and resell it for $300 pretty easily. And the reason I knew this was because I had already bought it and I knew what they were going for on Craigslist. So I decided to test my theory. I said, hey, if I can buy one good deal, that takes me like an hour. I don't have to sit in this classroom for 6 hours. So I ended up testing my theory. I bought one couch and I took it back to our apartment. So I actually had this couch taking up like all the space in our apartment. And I don't think Mindy was too happy about that, but I wanted to just test the theory. I ended up putting it back for sale and a few days later we sold it and made $200. And that's when the light bulb went off. I said, dang, like that was way easier to do than go sit in this classroom for 6 hours, even though that's easy too. This is way quicker and easier, and it has the potential to make as much as I want. So the minute I did my first sale, I quit substitute teaching.
This is a very typical entrepreneurial kind of light bulb moment. You do something, you don't really think about it at the moment, then it kind of comes back to you and you're just kind of like, let me see how far this goes or how far I can take this. Like I said in the beginning, he put $8,000 per month on the thumbnail and he's selling these couches for roughly $300, making $200 profit, and I'm assuming some couches are even less. That's going to need to be a ton of couches that you're going to have to sell in order to hit that $8,000 mark, because if you're only selling for a couple hundred, I mean, you need to be moving these all the time, and couches aren't small. You have to store them somewhere. But I think one of the best ways to make money, in the simplest way, in the fastest way, in the easiest way, is just flipping products. So buy something for less, sell it for more, find a good deal, and then sell it for a huge markup, and then start building your capital that way. And I think furniture is no different.
So after I bought the truck, I ended up getting a 10 by 30 storage unit that I could drive up to. That was going to be my warehouse and my storefront, and I was all in. I was just buying everything I could that seemed undervalued. It didn't matter if it was a couch, it didn't matter if it was a table, it didn't matter if it was an appliance. I was buying anything I thought was undervalued. I'd put it all in my storage, I'd clean them up a little bit, take pictures, throw them back on Craigslist, and offer free delivery. That was the key. Offering free delivery made people pay top dollar. And doing this was successful. I started to figure out what things really were worth. I started to figure out what items were the best to use.
If anyone's going to hit $8,000 a month doing this, you're going to have to do exactly what he's talking about. Like I said, you're going to have to move a ton of couches. He said he was flipping other things too, but if we're just talking about couch flipping, you have to move a ton of couches, and you're going to need somewhere to store all that. So a 10 by 30 storage unit, you're going to have to get that right off the bat, or as soon as you start filling up your couch, or start filling up your garage, or filling up your living space, you're going to need some sort of storage in order to hit that high number of 8 grand.
I've scaled it up. I've got multiple 10 by 30 storage units now because I'm buying so much inventory, and I'm realizing what things I like selling, what things I don't. I realized real quick that appliances were not good. They always broke. They were super heavy. People always complained about them. So I pretty much stopped buying appliances. The other thing I didn't like about appliances was I needed somebody else to help me load and unload them. Try getting a fridge up into your truck. Try getting a fridge out of your truck. It's not easy. So I stopped doing that because I wanted a business where I could do it by myself and I didn't need help.
I don't have an experience in this realm, but I would agree. Appliances just have more moving parts, have more components to them. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But if we're talking about couch flipping, you know exactly what you're getting. You can sit on it, you can move it around to see if everything's working properly, and then you're good to go. But appliances, that would be kind of a pain in the ass, just because if you buy it, you have to haul it away, clean it all up, and then let's say a customer buys it, or let's say you test it out and it doesn't work, it's just a dud. Now it's just sitting there taking up space. You got to haul it out to the dump. So I would think that would introduce definitely more problems.
I also realized that dining tables and things like that just didn't get that much money. I might buy one for $50, but I can only sell it for $100 to $150. It wasn't worth all the time and headache to do that. I needed somebody to help me lift the dining table. So that was out of the question. What I realized as I did it was that couches were easily the best things you could buy. There was a ton of supply of them. You could get a lot of good deals. You could load it by yourself, and you might be thinking to yourself, there's no way you could load it by yourself. How? Well, you tip one end up onto the truck, then you go and pick up the back end and lift it up and push it into the truck. And that's it. It's super simple to do it by yourself. It may seem like it's hard, but it's not. And the thing with couches is once you take off all the cushions, and the type of couches we're buying are pretty cheap, so they're pretty lightweight. They're not what you think. So I just learned that I needed to specialize in couches.
Yeah, for the most part, couches aren't terribly heavy. You just load it up exactly how he said, unless it's some sort of recliner with a lot of components under the seats, or let's say it's an electric recliner, then things can get really heavy. But if it's just a general couch that you just sit on, nothing is going to lean back or anything like that, super light, like it's not a big deal. You can definitely do it by yourself. You get those heavier couches, there's no way you're moving those.
And I learned real quick what couches get the most money. Sectionals by far outperformed everything else. Leather sold better than microfiber. I learned that if you could remove the covers and just wash them, they look brand new. If the covers couldn't be removed because they were attached, those were a pain in the butt because there's really no way to clean it other than getting a professional. So I became really niche in my couch searches on what I wanted. I was basically going after neutral colored sectionals that had covers that could be removed so that we could just throw them in the washer and put them back on. Those were the best sellers by far. I could pick them up for $100 to $200 and sell them for $200 to $300 more than what I paid for them. Every single time without fail. I learned that a couch by itself, like your typical love seat or a 3-seater couch, is not worth it. You could get it for $50, but it's still only going to get $100 to $150. So I ignored those. I would occasionally buy a couch love seat combo because that could make good money, but nothing beat the sectional. At one point, I had up to 4 10 by 30 storage units that you could just drive up to. And it was super cool because whenever somebody would come look at one couch, if they didn't like it, I could go sell them on another couch. I'd be like, hey, here's my units. I'll show you around. Take a look. Maybe there's something else you like. And so a lot of times a potential customer that came for one couch ended up buying another.
I mean, he essentially became a furniture store. 4 storage units, I'm assuming they were right next to each other, or I would hope they were right next to each other. He would essentially become a furniture store. So yeah, one person comes in, they say, I don't like that. And then they see something else that they like, or something he can sell them on, maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe more expensive, maybe a different material, whatever it may be. But I'm surprised those 3-seaters or the love seat couch combo don't sell as well. I feel like that's all I've ever bought. Also, he must have had a ton of inventory, which would be one of my biggest questions is how consistent is this inventory? Like I would have to dig deep in to actually look to see how often you can see these kind of deals popping up that are worth it. Because yeah, you're going to find those couches that are a great deal, but you're also going to find some that aren't the best, or they're going to say, oh, it's in great condition. You show up to get it and it's a disgusting ripped couch. So how often are you actually finding these couches? But this is definitely an interesting business. If you guys want to see me try it, I wouldn't mind trying to do a couch flipping video, and I would go all in on couch flipping for, let's say, a week or a month, whatever you guys want to see. Let me know down below in the comment section. So if you guys want to see me try this, let me know down below in the comment section and I will try it. I'll go all in, document the whole thing, give you all the nitty-gritty details that you may need. If you guys are looking for a different way of making money so that you guys could take that money and invest it somewhere else, or just continue to grow some sort of couch flipping business. But I have zero experience on this topic. I just know couch flipping has started popping off, so I decided to react to it. But if you guys want to see me do it, I will do it for you guys, document the whole thing, tell you everything that you need to know about couch flipping, and then we'll go from there. But let's continue this video before we get to that.
So this was honestly my first experience at running a legit business, and I was doing it by myself. And I got to the point where I was making on average $8,000 net profit every month. This was after paying my gas, the storage expense, and that was it. And the overhead on it was not very much because we're buying these couches for $100 to $200. I might have like $2,000 sitting out there at a time, but when I go to sell it all, I'm gonna make $6,000 to $7,000. So I loved the couch business. I'll tell you, if I didn't find real estate, I'd have probably kept doing it because it was an easy way to make six figures. I had months where we made $12,000. Man, I remember during Christmas time when everybody was selling their stuff because they're gonna buy a new one for Black Friday or whatever. I made $12,000 one December because we bought so much inventory and sold so much. So I know that the business can be quite lucrative.
I would assume that the bigger the city you're in, the more opportunity to find inventory there's going to be. So I wouldn't say, just based off of what he just said, that, you know, he sold $12,000 worth of inventory. That's a ton of couches that he must have had in those storage units. So he must, I don't know where he's based out of, but he must be based out of some sort of big city to have that inventory flowing in all the time. So if you're in some sort of small town or your city's not very big, it might be more difficult for you to find consistent inventory, is what I'm assuming.
Where I learned how to finally flip houses, and I actually was doing it when I first started flipping houses because that was my main source of income. So that's why I always tell people, you don't have to give up your day job right away. I didn't. Flipping couches was my day job. After about 6 months, and once I proved I could flip houses, I quit doing it because of opportunity cost. I knew that it was taking more time away from me finding the big deals that can make me a lot more. And also during that time as well, I ended up hiring my friend to help me with those couches while I was transitioning into real estate. The way that we'd work that was I would find the couches on Craigslist, I'd negotiate, I'd send him to go pick them up and pay for them. He'd bring them back to the warehouse, strip them down, get them cleaned up. I would relist them on Craigslist and let him know when he needs to go deliver it to another house. I'd pay him $50 every time he picked one up, $50 every time he brought one back. And we were making $200 a couch, so he'd basically make $100 and I would make $100. So that was my first experience at actually delegating and hiring out for my business. So I learned a lot of good principles from this business, and I will say that it has made me such a better negotiator and salesman. I definitely have bought and sold over 1,000 items on Craigslist during this period.
1,000 couches? 1,000 couches? That's a whole lot of couches.
When you get into 1,000 negotiations, no matter what the price is, you start learning people's tendencies, you learn how to negotiate, you learn how to make low offers. I know that that business was a way to set me up for these bigger businesses. So I'm super grateful that I got to experience all that.
All right, so I think we get the whole couch flipping business. This definitely seems accessible to the masses, so I think that's why this topic is starting to pop off a little bit. If you guys are interested in trying it and you guys want me to try it out first to give you guys whatever insider information that I can gather over the course of, let's say, a week or a month, whatever you guys prefer watching, then let me know down below if you guys want me to try couch flipping, and I'll go all in and see if we can make it happen and see how much money we can actually make. I live in a decent sized city, so I think it shouldn't be a problem finding inventory, but I would just have to look and then really do some research other than just this one video. Just really do some research on what works, what doesn't work, what you should do, what you should stay away from. So let me know down below if you guys want me to do that for you guys. And also let me know down below if there's any other video you guys would like me to react to, and I will make a video about that. So if you guys are interested in any of my other reaction videos, I'll put them up on the screen right now, and you guys can click on those and watch those as well. I'll see you guys in that next video.